From being unable to pay $140 million in interest payments to holding $1 billion in payments that are due to different teams, one failing company is about to change everything. That's right, I'm talking about the situation developing with the Diamond Sports Group. The company isn't doing well, and MLB is in a state of panic. The entire financial structure upon which the league is set up might be about to change, and whether or not these changes will be good is yet to be seen. Now, for those of you who are fans of the sport, I don't have to explain how big a deal it is that Diamond Sports Group is struggling.
Really excited about where we are and looking forward to a great end to the season and a great postseason. Cleveland's run came at a great time of year in terms of building excitement around the game.
But on the off chance that you haven't heard of this huge sports distribution company, I'll make things more clear for you. This is the company that owns Bally Sports, the same one that owns the broadcasting rights to 14 teams from the Major League. And the fact that they own the rights to so many teams means that they pay the league a lot of money that the league then uses to buy and sell players, invest in infrastructure, and merchandise. All of the teams which are funded by Bally broadcasting their games locally are about to suffer a lot of financial problems. Still, this is only 14 teams, right? I mean, there are lots of other teams in Major League Baseball too. So how does the fall of a company affect the entire league? Well, to understand, I gotta go over a magical thing called RSN. And don't worry, I don't expect a lot of you to know about the whole RSN system that the league is supported by. I'll explain the entire thing. So you know how I mentioned that Bally Sports broadcasts the games of 14 teams?
The last thing I'd like to say, and this is by no means least, I'd like to thank Commissioner Seelig.
Well, they do that locally. They own local broadcasting in different regions, so unlike national channels like ESPN and ESPN+, Bally Sports broadcasts in specific territories. Makes sense? Bally is the biggest RSN, a regional sports network, and there are many more. Now, these networks have exclusive broadcasting rights for certain teams with whom they've got deals, and the matches of those teams are broadcast primarily in the territories that their RSNs control. This is why baseball has those incredibly hated blackouts. An RSN that owns a particular game's broadcasting rights doesn't want you to be able to see it on any other network.
The Commissioner's Office and the MLBPA getting together and addressing in the context of our industry what is really a societal problem in terms of opioids.
Yeah, they got to make their money, and they make a lot of money and use it to invest in baseball. Let me tell you why that is. It's because baseball's been one of the most profitable businesses in the U.S. over the last few decades, at least in terms of sports. The audience is always so wowed by the NBA and NFL that it's weird to think about how baseball might be the most profitable out of all of them. And I'm talking about some insane levels of profitability, guys. If you were an investor that bought into the sport 25 years ago, you would have made a profit of 802%. Yep, that's insane, and it didn't happen for no reason either. This huge level of profitability was built on the economics that support MLB even today, and a huge part of that financial system has always been TV broadcasting. Now, I've already mentioned this, but RSNs are the biggest sources of money for MLB on the broadcasting front, or at least that's how it's been for a long time. And this is exactly why Bally Sports' downfall is such a big deal. Yeah, the biggest RSN going under means potentially a whole 14 teams in MLB will soon be terminating their contracts with the company, and this could lead the other teams to follow suit in the following years. We might see a complete shift away from the local broadcasting model as MLB continues to grow. Now, just for reference, guys, I need to restate something I said at the very beginning of this video. Bally alone is holding $1 billion in payments that it owes the teams under its contract, and the fact that they skipped out on a $140 million interest payment means that they're probably going towards bankruptcy at the moment. Plus, they're not the only RSN heading in that direction.
Big market, small market. We had a number of small markets last year who had really successful seasons, Tampa and Oakland among them.
About half the teams in MLB are in a similar situation. It's so serious that we even got an extremely extensive statement from multiple high-level execs of the league, including the Chief Revenue Officer, Noah Garden, and the Commissioner, Robert Manfred. But before I clue you into what these guys said, let me tell you why these once profitable RSNs are suddenly floundering. It's because of cord cutting, and the problem is so severe that more than half of the teams in the league are stuck with a local local broadcaster that's going under. Now, cord cutting is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's a reference to people cutting the cords in their houses. I'm talking about how more and more people are moving away from cable TV. Yeah, we'd all rather go on the internet and watch Netflix than tune into regularly scheduled TV. And this has a lot of bearing on sports too. Rather than watching it on TV and dealing with advertisements, the fans just stream games online. Yep, viewers and subscription for these locally broadcasting RSNs have fallen by tens of millions of people.
There's always the temptation for players who are competitive by nature to make a bad decision, use a performance-enhancing drug.
And more of these RSNs are having to get into broadcasting deals with teams that cost more than they're even making. At this point, I gotta take you through what Noah Gardner and Robert Manfred said, and get ready because they said some pretty shocking things. Things that have clued us all into how the economics of the MLB might look going forward. You're probably able to guess how the league isn't happy about losing billions of dollars, especially if they also have to limit their distribution with these awful blackouts for the sake of these RSNs. And while it seemed like we'd be dealing with blackouts forever, it seems like the age of regional sports networks is finally coming to an end. I'm not just saying this, guys. Manfred and Garden have both said things that pretty much confirm this. Garden, the chief revenue officer, made a statement saying that while MLB would prefer that their RSNs were able to fulfill their contracts,
by the confidence that the owners showed in me today, electing me to be the 10th Commissioner of Baseball, I agree with Bill. I have very big shoes to fill in following Commissioner Seelig.
they'd been monitoring the situation for a while and were prepared to distribute their games even if the RSNs failed. Yeah, this is big stuff, guys, because it implies the end of this third-party distribution, and Manfred also reinforced this through his statement. He talked about how the Diamond Sports Group, which is the parent company of Bally Sports, was going under, and even though the company has made statements ensuring that they're going to fulfill their agreements with MLB.
Well, it's something that we're working really hard at. I think our new deal with Under Armour will help us. Having a major consumer brand on everybody's uniform and a consumer brand really engaged with the game is important.
The commissioner still laid out a plan for the future. This was a plan that seemed to move away from the RSN model. Just by the way, 22% of their entire earnings come from RSNs. And now with these announcements, it seems like that whole model is turning on its head. Don't worry though, because Manfred does seem to have a plan, and it seems like it's going to involve streaming online, especially through MLB.tv. Also, get excited guys, because the commissioner made a special mention of how a move away from the RSN model meant that the league would be ending blackouts. Rather than local broadcasting, the money is going to come in through deals with Apple and Amazon, and the economics of baseball will never be the same. That was a breakdown of how the floundering of the Diamond Sports Group might change baseball economics forever.